I'm wbz-tv meteorologist Barry Burbank, and I have your forecast for the rest of this Sunday and look at the whole week ahead. First, let's talk about daylight saving time. Welcome and happy DST to you too. We have a sunset coming up today at 6:46. That makes me happy, and I'm sure probably most of you it does as well. The only flip side is, of course, the mornings are going to be darker. So remember, when you head out to work and school tomorrow morning, it's going to be dark. The sunrise tomorrow morning at 7:02. But looking ahead to later and later sunsets, by the time we get to May 16th, it isn't all that far away. Time goes fast, you know. We'll have a sunset at 8 o'clock, and on that day, the sun will be rising at 5:22 in the morning, something really to look forward to. But not too many people are looking forward to this. The next nor'easter coming up here, boom, boom, boom. That's what it's been lately. Bang, bang, bang. Here's number 3 coming along here. Winter storm watch is up by the National Weather Service. We'll have more to say about that shortly. But let's enjoy today because it will feature a mix of clouds and sunshine across the region. Temperatures a little bit higher than yesterday, around 44. There's a lot of warm air that's going to be building across the southern United States. Doesn't have a shot at getting here at all, at least for at least a week, and maybe much longer than that, because there's a big block up in Greenland and extending down into Canada, and that's forcing everything more on a southerly track, so we just can't get the warm air to come up here. There's no way it can move that block out of the way. So the storm down here in the southern plain states and along the Gulf Coast, that's the system which will give us the consternation and the accumulation coming up for later tomorrow night and into Tuesday. Today it's okay though, just a lot of cloudiness and flurries up in the mountains. Occasionally some of that cloudiness comes down over our sky here in southern New England, but for the most part it shouldn't produce any little snowflakes that it did yesterday, and most times the sun will be out nice and bright. Especially farther south across extreme southern New England should be nice and sunny a good chunk of the time. We go up to the low middle 40s. We drop down tonight as it clears out and the wind drops off to almost calm. That'll allow the temperatures to fall down to the low and middle 20s, except in some of the urban centers. Then tomorrow morning it starts out nice and sunny. The clouds roll in from the ocean. The other clouds come up from the southwest. So, summation, it turns cloudy. Maybe a couple of spritzes in the afternoon. Temperatures around 40 to 41. Then the precipitation starts breaking out tomorrow night into early on Tuesday, and it's going to be a snowy Tuesday morning commute, except southeastern Mass, where it probably is going to start as rain down there, then switch over to snow from Plymouth County down to Cape Cod during Tuesday morning as it progresses. And it looks like it's going to be enough cold air drawn into this system, so it's going to be a pretty big snow producer here in eastern Massachusetts if this storm track does materialize. Slight shifting of that track is going to, of course, as always, make a big difference in the forecast in some locations, so we're still going to have to watch that since it's not going to be happening tomorrow. It's happening Tuesday, so there is some wiggle room and time, enough time to do a little zigging and zagging in here with this, but for the most part, I think we need to be prepared for quite a storm indeed, but not matching the magnitude of the one we just had. How much we get out of this? Well, right now, the preliminary prediction, as I see it, 6 to 9 inches here in eastern sections. There could be a few spots southwest of Boston that get more than 9 inches, and frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if some places get 9 to 12 inches out of this. Much less in western England, 3 up to 6 inches. And then down in the Cape, that's the trouble, that's the place where there's lowest confidence. Right now going for 3 to 6 inches. So we're going to add at least 6 inches to the seasonal total to Boston. So we'll be closer to 50 inches for the city. That's above average. And Worcester won't get the 16 inches that it had in the last storm. It's going to be more like 6 inches out there too. There won't be much wind tomorrow morning. It starts ramping up in the afternoon. And by Tuesday morning, it'll be running 30 to 50 miles an hour along the coast with some gusts to 60 on the Cape here. But that wind will be driving the ocean and giving a storm surge, but the tides are low this week. The high tides are relatively low, so to speak. So therefore, the chance of any coastal flooding seems minimal, but there'll be a few vulnerable locations along the coast, I'm sure, where there'll be some high water for sure. And then by the time we get to the tide on Tuesday night, the wind is offshore, so that negates the storm surge. So it's mainly the Tuesday morning tide that would be mostly concerned about, and that tide happens, the high tide at 9:14 in the morning, but it's only a 9.2-foot tide, so that's good news. So again, the storm starts tomorrow night, tapers off Tuesday afternoon. It's not as wet and heavy as the previous storm, minor coastal flooding event, and in terms of weather impacts, yes, there probably will be some scattered power outages, but nowhere near the widespread extension that we had in the past storm. and there will likely be some damaging wind gusts, but will not produce anywhere near the amount of tree damage that the preceding storm did. But there certainly will be hazardous travel. So that's it. Here's your forecast for 7 days ahead. And once this storm exits Tuesday night, we'll still have a couple of snow flurries Wednesday with a few breaks of sunshine. And as you look at the numbers there, you see that it's just going to be a plain cold week for mid-March. Really cold Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Probably not getting much above the upper 30s near 40. You can watch WBZ News tonight, 6:30 and 11, and 8 o'clock on My TV 3080. Have a nice week.